Then a new business, I just want to throw this out. I just want us to be aware of what's happening, and anybody can comment on Governor Malloy's State of Connecticut resource allocation plan. That's in effect until they pass the budget. Once they pass the budget, it's no longer in effect. But I just want us to just think about it. Be ready for the worst case scenario. It's nothing just throwing it out there tonight. Because the worst case scenario is total state aid was supposed to be $6,651,587, and all that's in the Lawyer's proposed worst case scenario budget is $413,599. So we just got to think of where, if there is a gap, where it's going to come from. And there are three ways we can get it: unexpected revenue, which one piece of what Laura just said. Second one would be budget reductions, and the third one would be supplemental taxes. And I am against supplemental taxes because we already had a large no increase. So I just wanted to run the board, and I want anybody else to throw out whatever they want to throw out right now. Anybody else want to say anything?
I'd like to understand how we would do this.
That's what I'm asking us to think about it.
I've got an email to the attorney to make sure that we follow the procedures, saying, you know, these are options, what would we need to do to follow the charter to make sure we do it correctly.
Because asking in the beginning of the year, I was told the only thing to do was to supplemental tax though, but we have apparently other avenues. We would take our budget and scour it.
Well, I think that's an option. I think that's an option. But I'm just saying, think about it right now, because
it's $3 million.
the state's supposed to pass a budget on July 31st. It's supposed to be Tuesday, but that's not happening. It's going to be supposed to be July 31st now. And, you know, obviously the Republicans, Democrats, and the executive branch could compromise, and the cuts won't be as serious. That's what we're hoping for. But I just want to think, we just have to be prepared in case it was a worst case scenario, that's all.
They have to probably vote down the budgets to each other, and then maybe, you know, they figure out how to get from there. There's been sitting and talk about maybe bipartisan budget, but obviously because of the memberships, I think they'll have to do it. One question I have is it's interesting because part of the proposal that may pass, may not pass, is that there's a supplemental sales tax on meals and foods and things like that. I don't know if they come hotel stuff. I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but I think that if this does get passed and you start to look at how do you look at what Madison's doing, you know, I think you've got to be concerned about not being competitive in Clinton to your surrounding towns, but it is something at that point you need to think of because they're cutting aid based on saying you're giving you the ability to do this. So we need to think about it. I'm not saying we have to come to any conclusion for or against, but I think it's another thing only we might want to, you know, as we get closer to that, I think we think about it.
Well, we either need revenue or cuts.
Well, I mean, taking one-time revenue such as the, you know, let's say we got the 800,000 in from FEMA, or we got 2.8 million from Mill Pond, and we got, you know, you take that one time, we did that, you know, last year with the $980-something thousand, and then this year, we were in the hole that much. I mean, I think right now we're in crisis mode when they cut this amount of money out of our budget, or out of our, not our budget, out of our funding, out of our aid, and I mean, I think we need to try to figure out what we can do, what haircuts we can ask others to take, because the taxpayers have gotten a 10.2% increase in their taxes. And I think this would be basically a 6.9%, 3.3 million to 6.9% of debt service of all the operating and capital expenditures. And for you to be able to absorb $3.3 million, you'd have to ask all of your contractors, including public employees, or you'd have to talk about reductions in force, or reductions in hours. But to try to get 6.9% squeezed out of this budget, I think you have to do it in a way that everybody feels is fair. Because if you take it out of the police budget, and you don't do it to the library, and you don't do it, I think it's something that you have to just do every place.
We definitely have to have a plan B. I mean, this has to be a plan B.
Well, one thing is you have a town budget, that's what, 1.2 whatever percent what was. And, you know, when you're looking, that's a very small increase. So when you're looking to have people take
What's a small increase?
1.2 something percent increase is not a large increase.
In what, in salary, is that what you're talking about?
No, in town budget.
Oh, the town budget. Right.
So I mean, we can't control other than say to the Board of Education, cut this, okay? And then they gotta have to find out how to cut it. So I mean, that's the difficulties we have here.
I'm not looking for any signal sign, I just wanted to make aware of the worst case and to think about it, just in the top of the money, that's all.
Right, I mean, the other thing is, I mean, they had proposed a 3-month continuing resolution in effect. That was what was voted, did not pass on June the 30th. And that's what triggered the governor to sign the...
He has to, the Constitution.
But with that came, you know, which I think you all got, because I sent it to you. And I've got, if you want to look at just those pages, I didn't bring the whole thing. But that is a significant number, and, you know, let me put it this way, if you were in any kind of in private enterprise, and suddenly you lost 12% of your revenue from one source, you would immediately say, well, we've got to make some adjustments, and you can't just necessarily raise your prices, you know, for the adjustments. You're going to probably have some reductions in force, or you draw your contractors, and you say, we just lost one. I mean, it's almost a force majeure, you know, because you've got a crisis. And I don't know what the 3-month thing will be. We don't even have a number of what that would be, I don't think. At least, are you aware of one?
I've had business people on this comment to me that we are now, the town of Clinton spends $1 million a week, 12,000 people, $1 million every week, and they're shocked by that.
By the way, in our accounts, we have $6.8 million, we're talking about money market accounts like that. Okay.
Well, let me just add one other thing to this. You know, they're talking at the Board of Selectmen this week about this $4.8 million, you know, to go up to Rocky Ledge. I mean, given all of these kinds of uncertainties, it seems to me like we ought to put a moratorium on things like that, at least for a while, and say, look, let's not, we have a virtual crisis on our hands and we don't know where it's going. And to add another $4.8 million to that at this time is just not gonna fly. And having them go ahead with it like nothing has happened, nothing has changed, it's business as usual.
A moratorium until we see the state budget, I agree with that.
I agree as
I
well.
would speak against moratoriums. I think what you do is take votes. And you take votes on those kinds of expenditures. There's some things you're going to want to and have to spend money on. You know, there's going to be those things you need to do. But I don't disagree on what do you take on at this point with 4.8, because I think we don't need a moratorium on that. What we need to do is get all the answers that we raised and that were raised and see how this whole thing's going to work. But, you know, I think just a blanket say moratorium is not responsible, because we're here to vote. You may vote everything down that's proposed, but it's not a predetermined moratorium before you even know what the need is.
Okay, this is just to bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Thanks. First.
Yes, sir.
I